Hello YouTube, Sharps 1874 here to answer the question, are the baby Browning and the Bauer identical? The answer is mostly. So what are we talking about when we say mostly? So what I want to do is show you some of the internal workings and show you how close they really are. But before I do that, I want to show you that the Bauer, if you line up the barrel and slide the receiver back and put the barrel in the correct orientation, you can put a Browning receiver, a Browning slide, on a Bauer, and you can put a Bauer, line up the barrel there, you can put a Bauer slide on a Browning. No problem. They are essentially identical in that way. There are a few differences in measurements. Let's get into that. Let me take these back apart. And so, of course, to do that, you slide the receiver back, you lock it in place, you turn the barrel a quarter of a turn counterclockwise on the Browning, and it comes, oh, look at that. All right, put the spring back in. Same thing, but on the Bauer, you have to turn the barrel clockwise to get it to come off. And there we go. All right. So, are they identical? Here is the Bauer barrel. The Bauer barrel. Okay, it measures 2.099. Okay, the Browning measures 2.108. A few thousandths difference. The receiver here on the Browning, the receiver thickness is 0.468. On the Browning, it is 0.72. Little, a couple thousandths thicker. On the Bauer, you can notice there's a little step right here. It runs the length of the slide. The Browning does not have that step. Well, it's not as pronounced, let's say. Okay. The magazine. The Browning magazine measures 0.352. The Bauer magazine measures 0.343. The thickness, 0.974 on the Bauer, and 0.971. 3 thousandths difference between those. All right, so let me assemble this. And there's two more, and if you don't know, so you put the barrel in until it comes up to the cutout, and then you rotate it to get the locking lugs out of the way. Once the locking lugs are out of the way, you can put the slide onto the receiver, lock it in place, turn the barrel so the locking lugs go down into the receiver, and it's ready to go. The Bauer and the Browning have the same locking lugs. I'll show you here. pair of locking lugs, and they just twist into those locking lugs when you twist the barrel. So let's assemble the Browning. This is a reverse twist. One's clockwise, one's counterclockwise. And I'm going to slide it till it locks in place, turn it, and now this is ready to go. And you cannot cock a Browning or a Bauer unless there's a magazine in place. So we're going to put a magazine in, but first I want to show you difference. Number one, insignificant difference, but a difference nevertheless. Look at the difference from the front of the trigger to the back of the trigger guard to the frame. That is significantly larger than the front of the trigger to the back of the trigger guard. So on the Bauer, on the Browning, it's just over 1/8 of an inch that it sticks out, and on the Bauer, it's pretty close to 3/8 of an inch that it sticks out. Difference number one, major, well, it's a visible difference that you can see without a micrometer or a caliper. Okay, now we're going to put in the magazine. Again, both magazines have snap caps. We are safe. Now, I'm going to I didn't have the safety lever all the way down, and now I'm going to cock it. Now there is a snap cap in the chamber. You can tell that it's cocked because of that protrusion right there. When that sticks out, that means that the firing pin is locked. Notice this one is not back yet. It's flush. I'm going to chamber a snap cap, and now you can see that sticking out. All right, I can pull the trigger. It fired. This one fires. All right, now I'm going to do something just slightly different. I'm going to take the magazine out of the Bauer. I'm going to take the magazine out of the Browning, and I'm going to put it in the Bauer. And we're going to rack it. And we've got the snap cap came out. It is now ready to go. You can see, boom. And I'm going to fire it. Fired just fine. Now we're going to repeat that process with the Browning. I'm going to try to get the snap cap out first, however. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to put the Bauer magazine in the Browning. It is not cocked. I'm going to rack it. It is cocked. And now I'm going to fire it. Oh, it won't fire. The significant difference on this set of pistols, my Browning and my Bauer, is that a Browning magazine will not work inside, a Bauer magazine will not work inside a Browning. Kind of odd, isn't it? Everything seems to be identical, but it's not. I'm going to try to show you why. Well, I'm going to show you why. It does take a little bit of effort. You adjust the camera, and I'll show you what happens with a Bauer magazine in a Browning. Okay, here is the Browning receiver, and you can see the sear, and the sear has this pin on both sides. That's important because there is a component. Let's see if we can. Right here, that moves, and it's kind of a little safety. Okay, so when you put the magazine in, sorry about this, when you put the magazine in, as it comes up, it pushes that out of the way. See what's going on there? And right there, that pin will come down and hit a ledge and will not fire. But if you push it in, you can see the ledge still is not moving. But if you push the magazine all the way up, you can see with the firing pin, or excuse me, the sear goes all the way down. Now I'm going to move that magazine out just a little bit again, and notice it's still going down, but if I pull it out just a little bit further, see how that snapped back? It now will not move until that is pushed all the way back to right there. I'll pull out the magazine. Whoops. That snapped back. It will not fire. Okay, that's the Browning magazine. Now here's the Bauer magazine. It pushes up, but it does. Did you hear that click? Let me try that one more time. I have to. Oh. All right, the magazine is mostly inserted. Okay, and to that point right there, the sear will still disengage from the firing pin, but it's not all the way inserted. When it is all the way inserted, it doesn't push that little lever all the way across. Now, why is that? That indentation right there prevents that lever from pushing it all the way back. But I can put either magazine in the Bauer with no issue. So here is the Browning magazine going into the Bauer. It works. And the Bauer magazine into the Bauer. But it won't work on the Browning. Okay, so it may be that other magazines that you have out there will work between a Bauer and a Browning, but because of this little detent right here on the back of the Bauer magazine, you cannot get it to fire. It will not, the sear will not disengage from the firing pin. I'm assuming that was done by some clever engineers who wanted to be stinker poops. So you had to buy the right kind of magazine or else it wouldn't work. But anyway, I hope you found that interesting. So, are the Bauer and the Baby Browning identical? Yes, but there is that interesting little flaw or interesting little characteristic that makes it so you may not be able to shoot both magazines out of the same pistol. I'm Sharps 1874, and I thought you might like to know.